Marjorie Taylor Greene viciously turning against Donald Trump. She's going on CNN. She's going on News Nation. She's going on right-wing podcasts. She's not being subtle about it. Oh, by the way, she's going on Bill Maher. She's going on The View. Okay. She's not being subtle about it. She's saying, look, Donald Trump betrayed MAGA, essentially. She's saying that you can't go and give $40 billion to Argentina, then screw over our cattle ranchers, hide the Epstein files, and not expect Americans to be pissed at you. And she goes, take a look at those election results. Stop saying that it has nothing to do with Donald Trump or it has nothing to do with the Republican Party or this just happened in blue states. She goes, look at my state in Georgia. Look there. We had statewide races where there were massive flips by like 30 points from red to blue. So you're ignoring the data at your own betrayal that the MAGA people, and she says, look, I still believe she goes, I still believe I'm MAGA is what she said. But she goes, the MAGA people feel betrayed. And then she goes and brings the receipts one by one. You got to watch this. So here's what she said to Wolf Blitzer on CNN. She goes, yes, high cost of living, unaffordability, people are suffering. She goes, that's happening now under Trump. Here, play this clip.
We spoke the other day, last month. It was relatively recently. You acknowledge that the cost of living here in the United States is still high under President Trump. Is that a major reason why Republicans, you believe, lost the elections the other day?
It's a massive reason. And I think they were surprised by it, but it's been something I've been talking about for quite some time. And that's the most important thing people care about, the ability to put food on the table, a roof over their heads, and also their safety and security for their financial future.
And then she's specific. She goes, yeah, giving $40 billion to Argentina and screwing over our cattle ranchers, that's going to hurt. That's going to have an impact on how the MAGA base feels about you, Donald. Here, play this clip.
I'm one of those that supports our farmers over any farmers all over the world, and bailing out Argentina and blaming our cattle ranchers is not the way to go. And so, I think it's incredibly important for Republicans to understand the people that vote for them, not the people that come and support them in Washington, like the lobbyists and the industries, but the regular people. And that's who I represent. And no matter who gets mad at me, I'm not going to apologize for that.
And she says, look, this stuff is not America first. She goes, and watch where he's traveling. He's doing all these trips to the Middle East and meeting with the Qatari this and the Saudi Arabia that, and talking about their golden palaces and his golden palaces. And she's just like, that's not America first. You need to focus on domestic issues. You got to focus on the issues that are actually important to people here in the United States. And people can't afford to live. People need health care, she says. I mean, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Could you ever imagine this? Here, play this clip.
Is there anything, though, you'd critique or do differently?
My critique is not being focused on America first, but I largely blame that on our Congress because I serve in the House. I also blame that on who's advising him in the White House. Keeping him on nonstop tours around the world and nonstop meetings with foreign countries' leaders is not America first. It's just not. I think domestic policy should be the most important issue that the president and the Republican-controlled House and Senate are working on, and that showed up in the election on Tuesday.
But it's the president. Does he get some responsibility for that?
Well, of course. I mean, every president is responsible for the way that they lead, but they're also in a silo of information. And I think that's why after the election on Tuesday, you saw President Trump come out and react differently, probably because they couldn't keep him siloed. And here's the polls, sir, and this is what people are saying. I think he saw for himself, and he's reacted.
It's very interesting.
Then CNN, Blitzer, and the other hosts say, but look, MAGA Mike Johnson and Senator Thune, they're downplaying the election. They say it's not indicative of anything. What do you think, Marjorie Taylor Greene? She goes, oh, you better not downplay it. It's a big deal. It shows a repudiation of MAGA. And in the midterms, MAGA, Trump are going to get destroyed if they don't recognize the real pain they're inflicting. Again, this is from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Play this clip.
Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader Thune, and Vice President J.D. Vance, they all downplayed the election results, disputing that this is a broader wake-up call for your party. Are they wrong?
I don't think they should downplay it. I'm from Georgia, and we lost two very important public service commission seats that were statewide races in the state of Georgia. I think that should be a big wake-up call to my home state. We've got the entire slate coming up in 2026 with governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, and John Ossoff's Senate seat is up for election. So I think it's a major wake-up call, as well as other down ballot races in like Pennsylvania and Mississippi.
And this one right here, I was like, what have you done with Marjorie Taylor Greene? For real. She praises Nancy Pelosi on Pelosi's retirement. And she says, I will praise Nancy Pelosi. Incredible career. She got a lot of things done. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene praising Nancy Pelosi. Here, play this clip.
I will praise Nancy Pelosi. She had an incredible career for her party. I served under her speakership in my first term of Congress, and I'm very impressed at her ability to get things done. I wish we could get things done for our party like Nancy Pelosi was able to deliver for her party. So I wish her well in her retirement, but I would like to see people exit Washington a lot sooner rather than wait until their 80s.
Yeah,
Look, I'm not trying to get Marjorie Taylor Greene off the hook for all of the horrible conduct that she's had in the past. And I could spend hours on video listing her behavior. You know that behavior, so I'm not going to whatever. But like, I will point out that in 2019, Marjorie Taylor Greene said, Nancy Pelosi is a traitor. Traitor is punishable, is a traitor. She's guilty of treason. Treason is punishable by death. Okay, that's 2019 Marjorie Taylor Greene. 2025 Marjorie Taylor Greene is Donald Trump is wrong. And I'm praising Nancy Pelosi. I'm just trying to make sure that this is real life. It is real life. Then Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about the fact that Trump and MAGA is covering up a child sex trafficking ring. Here, play this clip.
Is the need for more transparency around the Epstein files. You even told us last month that you're concerned about threats. Because you want to expose some of the people in power who are on Jeffrey Epstein, who, was part of Jeffrey Epstein's ring. According to the survivors, there's a list of men they haven't released yet. You said you're willing to read that list on the House floor. What more can you tell us about that and the names?
Oh, I told the lovely women that I met that are victims of Jeffrey Epstein, they also say they are victims of another group of men, one that they're afraid to list publicly. And I told them that I'd be happy to read that name on the House floor for them. There hasn't been any movement forward on that. Of course, that's up to those women and that's their decision. However, I remain steadfast in my belief is that all of this information should be released. No one should be protected. That's completely unfair. And I think it's a failure of administration that they never released it. No one has released this stuff. And so this is something that the American people are extremely angry about. I think it also played a part in Tuesday's election of why some people are just mad and they don't want to go vote. And it's not going away anytime soon.
Have you made your concerns about the Epstein files known to the president directly?
Yes. Yes, I have. I don't share my personal conversations with the president, but I did express how important it is.
Then Marjorie Taylor Greene says, everybody agrees, release these files. Like, what the hell's happening? Here, play this clip.
But what do you say to people, perhaps people in your own district, who feel like his administration isn't being transparent on this issue, and it brings a lot of questions up for them?
I don't really have to explain it. It's pretty much everyone across the board agrees, release the Epstein files. So this is something that I get calls into my office almost every day about. We track all the calls that come into my office, and I think that's extremely important, whether they come from the district or out of district, and it's all over the country. People just want this information released.
What do you see?
She talks about how she wants to be working in Washington, D.C., while MAGA Mike has ordered all of the Republicans not to show up at all and to go on vacation and to not have any conversations with Democrats. Here, play this clip.
Here, I was telling my staff on the way here, I said, I voted to fund the government on September 18th. And here we are today is November 6th. And the House has not been in session since then. And I truly believe that's an utter failure. And you can't expect people to show up and be passionate about voting for you when you're not even going to work and they're going to work every single day and struggling to pay their bills.
So there's no one you can think of that you...
And then Marjorie says that she's leading by example. And she said she's trying to show kindness now. Here, play this clip.
I talk to anyone that requests an interview with me. Here lately, that's become incredibly important to me. I'm very tired of the toxic nature of politics here in Washington, but also across the country. Families have been torn apart. People have gotten divorced. It separates parents from children. And so I'm trying to lead by example. And I can only do my part, and that is to talk to everyone and to talk to everyone in kindness. We don't all have to agree, but that's being an American. And thank goodness for that, right? But we have the freedom to do that. And our freedom of speech, our First Amendment rights allows us to do that. And so my personal belief is, and I can only do it on my own, is that I need to set an example in the leadership role I am in, by speaking nicely to everyone and sharing my viewpoints, but also listening to others.
And being available to talk about what's going on,
yes.
which is so important. We all believe in freedom of the press. It is so, so important.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Congresswoman.
Thank you.
And then finally, Marjorie Taylor Greene, on an interview she did yesterday, talked about how MAGA Mike is a total fraud, basically. He has no health care plan, and he's just full of shit, basically. Here, play this clip.
Mike Johnson is telling us to stay home and not do our jobs.
So what does Mike Johnson, like if you were to be able to talk to Mike Johnson right now, you would tell him what?
Tell him the same thing I told him last week, and I yelled at him on the phone on our GOP conference call.
What'd you say?
Where is our health care plan? It's non-existent. Democrats created this problem years ago, but Republicans have never fixed it. And I said we need to be back at work, and not being in session is basically pathetic.
What did he say to you?
He gave me the same talking points he gives to the press every single day.
How many Republicans?
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Can you believe that? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Anyway, everybody, hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million, and thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.